First of all, I think it's super cute that he and Mindy already had like history from when they were kids back in Switzerland in boarding school. But more than that, I want to acknowledge for everybody that actually there was no overlap between Benoit and Nico. But although Mindy like reconnected with Nico on the side of the road and then at a party while she was still with Benoit, they had already very clearly broken up, and she was already actively trying to move on when he asked her out on a maybe date, maybe group hang. At the end of that group hang, where by the way she was dressed as literally a flight attendant dominatrix, at the end of that night they were having a conversation, and hey, communication is hot, okay? He made it clear that he noticed that she looked hot. He made it clear that number one, she looked hot, that he noticed, and number three, he didn't make it appear as though he assumed that she had dressed up for him. He also, in that conversation, he made it very clear that he was into her. Later on in the show, there was that whole fight about with Nicola and Emily got into this whole thing, and then he was very rude to Emily. But when Mindy had the conversation with him, yes, it was a spirited discussion, but they had the conversation and he was listening to her. He was arguing his points, yes, but he was actually listening to her. I guess they took some time and she gave him basically an ultimatum, and which isn't great, but she was right. But he took the time and he chose her. He came through in the end, flew her to Champagne where the engagement party was happening. And then in the beginning of season 4, there was that whole thing where he tries to dress her because apparently his dad wasn't impressed with how she's dressed. So that also wasn't okay, no. But again, he apologized profusely for it. There was that whole really, she wanted him to work for it. He tried to make it up to her by letting her shop the brand closet and all that. And she even tells him that he had sold that couture dress, and he's just like, all right, I deserve that. So he knew what he did was wrong, and he still, he took accountability, basically, and worked for her forgiveness. And then, of course, there was that whole crazy horse thing where he already knew that it wasn't the smartest thing for her to be dancing at the Crazy Horse, considering he was about to be, evaluated to be the, CEO of the company. So it wasn't a good look, but he still went and supported her. He sat there, he was uncomfortable in the beginning, but to him, it was more important for him to be there for his girlfriend than his ego.